Yes.
We are live. Hello, ladies.
We are.
Welcome to the Women's Wisdom Circle. I don't feel very wise today. I'm completely. Ah. I thought it was going to be 9 o'clock. I was going to have quiet little dinner by myself, and my last dinner here. And then Viviane, who is not here, and I just sent her a link, on her. Anyway, she sent me a like a, what do you call this? Like a message on Google Plus, calling me on Google Plus, and that's when I realized, oh, it's 8 o'clock. Sorry, okay, and I did it 8 o'clock so that both of you, could come in, Bridget and Dion. I need a centering. Somebody wants to do the centering today? No. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Do you want? Okay, okay. I can do the centering
You can do the centering. Okay, I would love that.
for you, Aline. Yes, of
I
course.
need a center. Yes, I'd love that, Harriet, if you take over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So just become present to your body on the chair, feeling how you are able to relax and let go of all the hustle around everything. Just take a moment to go deep inside yourself, into your center. Feeling the feet on the floor, knowing you are deeply connected to the roots, how your roots are going deep into the Mother Earth, providing you with calm, clear, and powerful energy. Breathing that in, becoming aware of your breath, and just listening to how your breath is taking you deeper into your own center. And becoming aware of the pause when your breath is switching directions, resting in that pause for a while, and feeling how your consciousness is opening and expanding. Expanding so that you become aware of your connection up to the universe, feeling your deep connection to the heaven or the universe, the cosmos, whatever you want to call it. And letting go of everything that has been around you and just being with yourself, knowing that everything is perfect in this moment. Breathing to your heart, listening to your heart, embracing our circle all over the globe. And opening up to our meeting, to our co-creation, to our listening to what is emerging here and now from our hearts. And start to find your own movement in your body, which will help you to come back to our space together. Let your body move itself until you open your eyes.
Thank you.
Embracing you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was great. I needed that. Ah, I'm so glad to see you, Bridget. I haven't seen you for a long time.
No.
Yes. Wow. Yes, that seems to be what is emerging, being in the moment and dancing with the moment. Hmm. And I'm so glad that I have co-creators with me that could ground me today because I was zoom 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 zoom. Yes. Yeah, that journey we have taken now since the end of February, exploring how to shift into the heart and how to be present in the moment. How to be present in that eternal space of self. Interesting what is emerging. Last time when we talked I think it was last week, Dion, you shared the experience of a miracle as
Yes.
as you were in that instant, in that moment, where as you were present.
Mm-hmm.
And the challenge is to live every moment in the moment and not to get lost in the to do. You know, I got lost in there tonight.
Yes. Yes. Definitely. Staying present and in awareness of the possibility of every moment. That's been at least the takeaway for me from the experience of that miracle, is that now that I know from experience that I can receive a miracle, that potential is in every moment for a miracle, and so to live in that potential of the awareness of that. That's not a one-time thing. Potential for a miracle is infinite.
Hmm. It is. It is, and that's the space that, with more of that awareness and more of that experiential um, connection to the moment, to the present moment, might become the norm rather than getting lost in the head, which is where we're coming from. You know, that's the journey in a way. You know,
Yes.
and we need the head. That's what I'm realizing. The head is so important so that we can organize life in the physical universe, because that's where I kind of was focused. Since I'm leaving tomorrow, I'm organizing my and closing down the head. And there's a feed.
It's the balance, understanding and learning about the balance.
Dion, would you speak a little bit more about finding that balance?
Well, for me, so I'm getting feedback. Is anybody else getting feedback? I'm wearing
No.
wearing a headset. Try to prevent that.
I'm going to mute everybody except one speaking.
So it just happened. It just happened. It hadn't been going before.
Okay. See what's
Okay.
better now?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay.
So for me, it's about setting boundaries. No, first of all, it has been for the last 18 months or a little more, learning, really coming clear with myself about what matters the most. What is the most important things in my life? And radical self-care has been one of those. And my relationships with my immediate family has been another. I've had very fractured relationships with some of my immediate, my siblings. I'm oldest of 12, and because of different reasons, I have some very close relationships with some of them, but others have chosen to cause division among us. And so the value of family relationships has been very, very dear. So when my husband and I were divorced and my own immediate family became fractured, it broke my heart. And so I set some very important boundaries for myself. And when he was diagnosed with cancer and going through all of that, and then the last 6 months of his life came, I made, it wasn't a vow, but I set for myself an absolute that was that I would do everything I possibly could to put myself in a position to facilitate a healing, whatever it cost me. And that occurred on Christmas Eve, 5 months before he passed away. I know that it wasn't all me. Spirit had a huge part to play in that, and so did he. You know, mortality and facing death brings different priorities to light for us, for all of us. And his whole attitude about a lot of things had changed that made it possible for us to reconcile. And it was a beautiful healing with our family that our children witnessed, which shifted the energy for the last part of his life and for our family. And so setting boundaries around what is absolutely priority for me is part of where the balance has helped me keep my balance. So here's the priority. My mind has helped me organize. My heart has helped lead the way around what is the priority. And does that help answer that question? So the mind, the heart sets the priorities, and then the mind helps to organize that. For me, that's how that's worked for me. And then when it came to my health, that was definitely the way it worked as well. I learned exactly what I needed, how much energy I could expend at my work, and when I was asked to do more projects, it was like, well, I only have this much energy, so you're going to have to take some things off my plate if that's what you want me to do. And when they said no, I said, that's fine. I mean, if you really want me to do it, then this is what it's going to take. And I really held those boundaries. And when a year passed and nobody else was found to do that job, and the deadline was coming, and they said, well, we really need you to do that job, I said, that's fine, but I still need these criteria to be met, and they met them. And so that's how I am trying to live my life in better balance, using the mind to help me organize around my priorities better. And I'm trying to teach my girls and my son to do the same, because I raised them differently, and now they're all adults with families, and so it's like, okay, let's relearn this. And I have my oldest granddaughter now, just turned 18 and graduating from high school, and my graduation, her 18th birthday is in April, and she graduates in May, and I'm like, okay, I'm giving you a big self-care box, and it's got all kinds of things in it about taking care of yourself first, loving yourself first, and ways to cope with life. And this is going to be my legacy to each of my grandchildren as they turn 18 and graduate, because it's time for things to shift.
Thank you. You made it so clear, Dion. Like leading with the heart and then use the head to organize how it's going to take place. This is brilliant. And so many times I hear people say that it's selfish to do things for ourselves, but it's just the contrary. And this is the learning that the world needs. And we need to model that.
Yep. Yeah.
Yes.
So I don't know, now that I'm finished, you might probably want to try unmuting people in case they have questions or want to make a comment, because we'll see if I'm still getting feedback.
Okay. I'm going to unmute Bridget, and I'm muting you then, okay? If I can do this, let me see. But Bridget, you can unmute yourself. Hold on.
So I've unmuted myself.
Okay.
So yeah, that's better.
Good. Okay.
I've muted them.
Okay. So thank you, Dion, and it did. You did explain it very clearly. For me, I suppose what would be a miracle right now would be for me to actually be willing to follow my heart, and I because it's right from a very early age I was called headstrong. That was the label I was given, and so I have given priority to my head all my life, and not my heart, and that label of selfish. The other thing, and I think I'm sharing this because I think it's helpful when we're talking with young people, particularly, and I have two sons who are 20 and 22. The other thing, so I was labeled headstrong, and then I was also told, Bridget, you can't have it your way. You have to think of other people. And so my whole life was, how do I be me in this world? How do I actually be me, who my heart wants me to be in this world, when the labels that are so powerful have been placed on me? And so it's the process of, as you say, learning that taking care of me first is not selfish. It is what needs to happen in order for me to be strong and do the work that I'm here to do in the world. So yeah, it's removing those two labels. So perhaps it would be well, for me it would be helpful if anybody could share anything that they know they've learned, any ideas about how we remove those labels. How do we change 62 years of labels and honor who we really are and honor our hearts. That's my question.
This is millennia of program where we judge people and label them rather than we've been socialized by having labels and controlled and put in a box. And for me, it's to realize that who I really am, that spiritual being that has a human experience, cannot be labeled. And it's a journey of being vigilant on a daily basis. It's not something, it's reprogramming the lower mind. And we've been talking for a while now in this group about radical self-care, and I think I mentioned it to Harriet on Friday. I'm thinking of putting a 30-day challenge of radical self-care and creating a Facebook group and just supporting each other in really being that selfish and taking care of ourselves and seeing where we go with that. So that's what's been emerging for me out of hearing those regular shares. And I'm inviting Harriet or Dion to comment on if you have a recipe. For me, the recipe is to be on a daily basis and check in with myself. If I find that my body is off kilter, if I have an emotional reaction to something, then I know I'm triggered in one of my judgments. Either I judge myself, there's nobody anymore doing it now. It's me in my listening who is doing the judging. And so, but when I notice it, and the way I notice it is because I don't feel good. It's like, I'm not, emotionally, I'm not in balance. Then I check in with myself, what is it? And then usually I find, I got triggered, this is what I thought, and this is what created. There is when you have that thought, which is a negative thought, right? A label is a judgment. Then you have a neurological reaction in your body that you have this bad feeling in your body, and there is a trigger back into the brain that you loop, actually. You get lost in that loop. It's very well explained in the book, You Are the Placebo, Dr. Joe Dispenza. I'm reading this book right now, and he explains that loop quite well. A negative thought, or any thought actually, produces a neurotransmitter, I think, yes. And that creates a protein, a neuropeptide, which creates a feeling in the body, and that feeling creates that same thought again, reinforces that same thought. So you're really looping, and you can get lost in that loop until you catch it. And and the way you catch it is when it feels so bad in the body that you notice you're off. you're not, you're not feeling good, then it's making a choice. Like, do I want to keep on doing this? What do I want? Make a different choice, conscious choice, rather than having that automatic neurological kind of program running. And apparently 70% of our thoughts are negative. There's a lot of work to be done. And I think we can support each other in challenging supporting each other in manifesting radical self-care for 30 days and see where we go.
I really like that idea, Eileen, and I would really support that. Can tell. I can tell you how what was the most helpful for me in accepting all of the labels I was called, which were similar and rebellious, and all of those labels. And the most helpful thing was program called Living Your Truth, and it's by Carol Tuttle. And I don't know if anybody of you are familiar with it, but she's done work with energy, and I believe that I'm not certain, but I think that she's been a psychologist. But she's noticed primarily energy among women and how women's energy has flowed. And she noticed 4 primary ways that women's energy flows over like 25 years. And she noticed that some women's energy flows really fast, some flows not so fast, some women's energy flows quite slow, and some a little faster, but not as fast as those that flow on the faster side. So as she noticed that, she began to notice characteristics that went along with those energy flows in terms of personality and in terms of a lot of other things. And over time, she began to develop a sense of truth about each person's style of who they are, just their energy style. What makes them feel the most true about who they are, in terms of even the clothes you wear, and not just the clothes you wear, the style of clothes you wear, the colors. We used to have that winter, fall, summer, spring color kind of thing. This goes way beyond that, way beyond that. And what I value so much about her program is that I began to realize all those things that I was labeled that I had to suppress in order to be acceptable, that I noticed in some of my grandchildren, because one of them has the same fiery personality that I have and holds such a big space in the world that she's often rejected, she's often suppressed and told to be quiet, and doesn't make a lot of friends because she's so bold. And I'm so and her mom, fortunately, actually is the one who turned me on to the program. So her mom is trying to help her learn how to be in the world so that she's not so she's okay with who she is, and learning to be comfortable in her own skin and dress in a way. So the thing about this is that we tend to project ourselves in the world in a way that the world wants to see us be, but because that's not who we are, including the way we dress, we come across as being insincere. There's a conflict in who we are and the energy we project, and what the world sees, because there's a contradiction in that. And so when we can accept our energy and it aligns with how we project that in the world, in everything, including the way we put on our makeup, the way we dress, do our hair, the way we dress, the way we present in the world, and allow ourselves, if we walk fast and clomp, it's okay, because that's the way our energy moves. That has helped me the most, to really be able to realize, it's okay for me to be the fiery energy that I was always, it was even as a kid. It's okay. And so I don't know if that helps, but I found that has been so valuable. And what was really sweet about it was when my daughter came across it, she said, Mom, you've just got to read her book. You've just got to join her program, because what I realized is, Mom, she speaks your language. She talks about energy. So it was sweet. And she has monthly webcasts where she goes, she's got a really great support system set up. So there's that resource to help me.
Thank you, Dion. And I think it would be really helpful. A couple of books have been mentioned. When I tried to make a comment on after listening to your last talk, Dion, and on the Google Hangout room, and I don't think it accepted my comment. So maybe we could just email those titles to each other.
Sure.
I think that would be helpful. And Aline, you also mentioned what you're reading right now. I think sharing what we're reading is helpful.
Good.
Something about yeah, I have to mute you somehow as feedback when you have your mic open. When I create those hangouts with an event page, there is we can comment on the event in the slot of the event page. This is a permanent something that stays. So we could use that. Have you tried to put the comment there? You're muted, Bridget.
Yes, I tried to post there after listening to the last conversation with you and Dion, and it didn't accept my comment, so I'm not sure why that was. But I mean, the other way we can do it is if we open the chat. So my chat is open here, and I could we could do it in the chat. And then we can see the chat. So
I can put it in the chat. I noticed there is one. I'm not sure who was supposed to join us today. So hi, Vivian, if you're watching. Maybe it is Elizabeth from Hawaii, because she also said that she was coming. And because maybe I opened the line late, they got discouraged. But somebody is watching. I noticed it says one viewer. So whoever that is, if you want to join in, I put the link on the event page. You can click on that link and you'll come to the room if you want to join us. I'm just putting that name. Yeah, okay. All right. Harriet, did you want to add something?
Yes, I would. I heard you, Bridget, say that now you really would like, the miracle for you at this moment would be to follow your heart. And that's so beautifully said. And the way I have explored this, because I had to learn it too, because I lived totally in my head. I didn't have any connection to my feelings. And the feelings are the guide for knowing, as Aline said, what feels right for me now. And one way of practicing is to write with your non-dominant hand, to ask for advice from your higher self by writing and asking that question if you are making a decision or otherwise you would like to have. And writing with the non-dominant hand means that you access, it comes from, and you just write, you don't think at all, because this is, listening to the heart is about getting out of the head and just put the head then to, as Aline said, you know, accomplish. But since this is so new, I practice it also to cherish my pleasure, my desires. What do I really want now? So I let myself, you know, do just something to enjoy the pleasure of feeling good about myself. And that's also one way of practicing this. So I'm learning away from this voice here, you know, no, you cannot do this, and you know, no, this is not clever. So when I start to rationalize, I know that I'm in the doing things from the wrong place. But it's not an easy, because these labels are deep. I'm 49 years old, so I'm learning it now, and I'm grateful that okay, it's now coming in as a skill. But really, the feelings are the gateway to this. And when you take even a small action, honoring your heart's true desire, you will get, you will know, and it feels so good when you do it. I really encourage you now to do it. Just do it.
Yes, and sometimes, you know, when you don't have the pattern of doing that heart-based action for yourself, it's like a small thing. Start with small thing. What would I like to eat today? You know, and not go according to the pattern or the routine of what you would do normally. Really take the time to listen in. What would really please me today, and do it. You know, it's a reprogramming of a new habit, a habit to take care of that self with a capital S, you know, that soul that lives in the heart, that has been, you know, in the backseat, has always been there, but you know, the mind has taken over for a long time. And Bridget, you're also going through a huge transition, as far as I know, right? So yeah, it's always a vulnerable space when you are in that, you know, shifting completely your habits, and not totally clear on where you're going also. So that's, it can bring up all kinds of insecurities, right?
Well, and I don't know, I don't know how you were raised, Bridget, but if it was anything like me, which it sounds like there were some similarities, that with all the restrictions I had, and the discipline and fundamentalist and all of that, everything that Aline was saying about taking the first little steps of what do I desire, and it required being given permission. I had to have permission for just about everything I did. Well, so where is that permission going to come from for doing something different? And it had to come from me. It had to come from my heart. And so that was a huge gap I had to just take with a leap of faith, that I, and trust. And so part of my journey has just been about walking each step of the way in absolute surrender and taking it with faith and trust. And truly, that's what's gotten me where I am. Absolute surrender. Yeah. and that permission is okay.
Thank you, Dion.
Mm-hmm.
What would you need? What would you need, Bridget, for us to support you in that step? Tell us. You're muted.
I know I have your support, and I know I have your hearts with me, and so I'm not. I'm not very. One of the things I suppose is the reaching out and saying I'm stuck here. That's not something that I have practiced, because in the past, I've always practiced being strong. That's what my name means. So that was another label, and so you don't not know, you just go and do. And so what suddenly comes up for me in this moment is that I don't, I teach that we don't need to know how to do something. We just need to know what we want, and so and then take the first step. And as we take step after step, the path becomes clear. As long as we're present in the moment and able to check in with, did that step take me closer to what my heart wants, what I'm wanting, truly wanting, what, or not. So it's about the thing that it would be most valuable in terms of support is these conversations. I think, this willingness to just say, this is where I am right now, today, and I think that's, for me, the thing that this group is providing.
It's powerful to be able to be totally authentic with what is going on in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot always be upbeat and, totally in flow. And having a space to express that and be heard and be received is the first step towards the shift. So thank you for trusting us enough to tell us what it is.
I'm thinking about what you said, Bridget, about taking each step and checking in with if it's getting us where we want to be. And I'm remembering the quest that I took in the pyramids at Teotihuacan, Mexico in 2008. I went with one intention, and that was to come into a new life. I didn't have no idea what that would look like, what that meant, but I knew that I was stuck, and I wanted something different, and I wanted it to be an evolution. And it was a 3-week experience, and we walked the Avenue of the Dead in the pyramids. We started out in Mexico City at the Basilica of Guadalupe, And then we went to the pyramids, and then we went down to the birthplace of Quetzalcoatl, that pyramid in can't remember the name of the city, escapes me. And then we came back and closed the ceremony at the basilica again. And then there was a week long after that where I wanted to just integrate the energy before I came back to the States. I was with my teacher guide and a couple of other people who were there to party. I was there to integrate it, and that was still part of my quest, I learned. But I'm just thinking about what you said and kind of relating that back to that experience. Because I was so in that experience, immersed in it, in the surrender, that I could not have assessed where it was taking me, because it was beyond me. It was way bigger than me. And so I suppose it would make a difference exactly what experience we were in, and where we were going and what that looked like. But in that experience, I was taken along in something much bigger, and all I could do was be in surrender, because each experience was so huge and took so much trust and faith. I just had to give in. I mean, there was just no analyzing any of it, I guess, is the root of what I'm being guided to say. There was no analyzing it. I just had to be in it, surrendered to every piece of it, move forward step by step in faith and trust, and then at the end of it, when we were coming on the plane back, there was so much that was clear about what had to fall away. And one of those things was I had to separate myself from my teacher. Her integrity, her lack of integrity became so clear. And so that was like, that had to be said.
Mm.
And I've experienced that in other situations too, in other experiences too, but then I understand also what you're saying. I think in other situations that could be true, that we would need to make sure that the road we're traveling really is taking us in the direction that we're going. I guess it depends on the intensity of the experience or something. I don't know. It just was, I was very much touched by it to say that.
What I'm hearing, like what from what you said, Dion, is you said something had to change. So it's like you put a stake in the ground. Enough, and then it was like, that for sure I don't want anymore. So that's, when you make like a declaration, then universe has the hand then, to
Yes.
show you the next step, because you're no longer trying to figure it out. You kind of, it's a surrender, like you said,
Mm-hmm. Yes, maybe that's the difference. Yeah.
No return, and then and you were willing to go wherever, but you knew that was no longer acceptable. Yeah, whatever it was.
And my life was, I did absolutely come into a new life. I might as well have died and come back into a new. I mean, I did. It was if I had died with. I mean, I just didn't have to go through that process of physically dying. I came into a completely new life. It really did do that. Hmm. Everything changed for me that year.
Thank you. Thank you. Very, yeah. Appreciate it. Just then I noticed myself going into my head again. So just coming back down.
First step.
I guess it goes back again to that question you asked me in the beginning about balance. And for me, again, it's about what did I really want? What is my priority? And putting a stake in the ground. I guess that's a really good way to say it. And I mean, I love how you clarified that, Eileen, because when we make it so clear to the universe what it is that we want, and we hold the boundary and we hold that line, the universe makes it happen.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have to get out of the way of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like I have this thing on my refrigerator. It's called the Cosmic Kitchen. And it's just sort of a little picture of when we go into a restaurant and we order our dinner or our meal, we order it and then we let them go back and fix it. Unless it's, like for a restaurant an inordinate amount of time, we don't sit and fuss about when it's coming or what they're doing back there. We just trust that it's being taken care of and that it will arrive when it's ready, which is the whole thing about how we should be trusting the Cosmic Kitchen and just allowing it to be all in order.
And
I like that. I just thank you. I just really like that. It's just it's light and so true. That we order and then we trust and we trust that it will arrive. And so, but we've placed a very clear order. Whatever we've ordered, we expect that, and we simply wait. So, yeah, thank you. It's a great thing.
And Bridget, I know you have placed a very big order. So yes, there's a lot of dismantling that needs to happen before all that can come to be. That's the letting go part, right?
But I think we're in a time now where things manifest so much faster than they did when we were in 2008. So I think that dismantling could come in a quicker time frame, which may or may not be something you would want. I mean, it's like I told my kids. So we've had a lot of deaths. A lot of people transitioning in my family, and my daughter's father-in-law passed away, and they came over and were going through a lot of his things, and she went back and she sent out an email and she said, it certainly inspires me to go through and get rid of a lot of stuff, because I certainly don't want family having to do that for me. And I said, and I know you kids don't want to do it for me, and I promise once I retire, which is going to be in October, that I will make that's at the top of my priority list. And my couple of my girls go, Mom, we thank you now and later. so unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know which, it was only a few days later I came home from work, and the hot water heater had exploded in the garage. And I had quite a few things in plastic, but there was a lot of stuff in cardboard that had gotten soaked about halfway up the top, because I don't know how long it had been going, just pouring water out in my garage. And so it's like, okay, universe, I get it. You heard me and you responded that quickly. And that's what's been happening. It's just quick. I mean, we're in a space now where things manifest a lot faster than I'm used to. And so I think that we can just expect that the order is going to be, once we place it, we can expect it to happen a lot quicker than it used to happen, as my experience anyway.
Just wondering if we are complete for today, or whether we want to bring some other topic up. Notice we've been talking for about an hour, so.
I certainly feel complete, and actually need to get on with my day now. So
Great.
I'm very, very appreciative.
All right. Thank you. Come to the circle, all of you. And sorry for having been late. And I'm traveling tomorrow back in Saudi Arabia next week. So I just hope I can keep on doing it, that my internet will be good enough. I'll try it.
Well, how about we put in an order?
Yes, okay, go ahead, yes. Yeah.
We are putting it in order that Aline will have all of the internet connection she needs to continue to do the Women's Wisdom Circle.
It could actually work because I have a new computer, so, but I have to test it. So it's not for me to know now. I'll figure it out when I get there. I'll be in touch anyway. I'll schedule one, and then we'll see. We'll get to experience it. I might have to remove my camera and just have my picture. My icon.
Oh.
The bandwidth is not big enough, but otherwise the voice should be able to carry. All right, ladies. Thank you so much for having been in. Thank you.
Thank you, as always, Aline.
Yes. I turn off the recording for now, and then the broadcast is